Hi, my name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with Healthy Black Woman and SuccessfulBlackWoman.com. And I'm here today with my friend Shaquita Graham from LovingTheBlackMan.com and Ateco.com. How are you doing today, Shaquita?
I'm doing good, Noma. How are you doing?
Excellent. Okay, so our topic today is one that I think it's safe to say ruffled both our feathers. The title is Getting Married is Not an Accomplishment. And I just want to read quickly. This is by a woman who has just gotten engaged. So she feels that now that she got engaged a few months ago, and now that she's engaged, she's excited and all that. But after all, she says it was a huge moment in my life that was exceptionally exciting, special, and celebration worthy. But is it an accomplishment? And she writes no in bold. She said,
in bold.
Yep. Now that I have a ring on my finger, I can finally publicly share my opinion. That would have sounded plain bitter coming from a girl without a ring. And being officially taken off the market has definitely not changed my stance. Getting engaged and married is not an accomplishment. Ladies, before you angrily dismiss me, hear me out, she says. My frustration is this. It's 2016, and being popped the question is still more celebrated than academic and professional pursuits of women. Yes, college, graduations, and landing a great career and receiving wonderful promotions are all received with happiness from friends and family, but not even close to the same level of elation received when you announce that you're getting hitched. This is my experience, at least. So what are your thoughts, Shaquita?
I mean, as a black woman, it just makes me cringe, honestly, because, you know, getting married and more so staying married can be a major accomplishment depending on how and why it's being done. I mean, it's an accomplishment in certain cases because, first of all, marriage in and of itself is a major business enterprise. And when we take all of the emotional fantasies out of it and we think strategy for the black nation and the black community, I think we will see the value in it that is spiritual, that is intergenerational, that is it has a big impact on the entire community, and it's definitely to be celebrated more than getting any kind of a degree to me. So those are my first thoughts.
Right. I wanted to read the one little extra bit. She says, I'm so grateful for the excitement surrounding my upcoming marriage. However, I often wonder why the event of getting married is put on a higher pedestal than the true success that come along with an education and a career. In the 1950s, women were primarily housewives, and getting married was typically the end goal. Back then, being a wife is what defined a woman, so I can understand why finding a special someone was considered an accomplishment. This is no longer the case, though. In today's society, ladies are ladies are balancing much more than just finding a man. Here's the thing that stuck out to me. She's saying, in essence, that we should devalue marriage, okay, right? And then add more value to academic and career pursuits. And, you know, my question to her is that degree going to keep her warm at night? And is that career going to keep her warm at night? But on a serious note, I think that this is far more important when you talk about black people than the general population, because what has happened is that we've been attacked in so many different ways, and one of the ways that we've been attacked is the deterioration of our families. So to say that we should value family even less, to me, is very, very problematic, because that's how we end up in poverty. That's how you end up with kids that are subject to more crimes. Again, you know, we were just talking about that video with that white woman that was pummeling a young black kid in class. Those things tend, unfortunately, to take place where, you know, we're devalued, dehumanized, and I would be very disappointed to think that we would do that to our own selves, devalue our marriages, devalue our families. That's not something I would get on the bandwagon for. So in case it's not clear, yes, I do think that marriage is an accomplishment. I think that an even greater accomplishment is staying married, doing it in a functional and in a healthy way, and being good role models for children that you have.
I mean, definitely. Okay, I'm all for getting an education and, becoming a CEO or entrepreneur or lawyer and all of that stuff. But, I mean, getting an education, you read some books, you took some tests, getting married, and actually, first of all, someone who has a serious plan for their future, they've identified you as a key player in their legacy. At that point, your educational and career pursuits now have a much bigger meaning because they are going to apply to a future generation. I mean, again, I just think back to the picture that we've seen in so many of our households of the 70, 80-year-old grandmother and grandfather with like 50 people behind them. It's like, these are all the people that came from our union. And that's what I see for the Black community. When we do marriage right, we can really build. I think we should place more value on what can be accomplished with family from the standpoint of, like you said, protection. You get Pookie and them, all of them up at that school. No, I'm just playing. No, but from the standpoint of protection, economics, and more specifically, intergenerational wealth and knowledge transfer. That's a big thing, knowledge transfer. Our intellectual property, we are not capitalizing on it in an intergenerational way. And you're not going to see the transfer of wealth and knowledge with your random side chick or your baby daddy. That's not where it's going to take place. It's going to take place in a marriage. So yes, it is an accomplishment, much more than getting a degree.
See, I think the other thing that kind of is bothersome to me is that she's suggesting that we devalue a woman who, for instance, just chooses to be a housewife. And makes taking care of her home, taking care of her children, and meeting her husband's needs. She's trying to say that woman is less accomplished than a woman who, gets that degree and chases that career. Now, the question that I have to somebody who thinks that way is, who exactly is raising your kids? Because we're seeing symptoms of kids who are not raised. Because both of their parents, and I'm not blaming them, I come from a home where I spent just as much time with nannies and maids as I did with my parents, so I'm not judging my mother for working or any other woman for working. I am a full-time stay-at-home mom, work-at-home mom is what I call myself, but I've only been doing that for the last 3-4 years, and before that I had a full-time job as a college professor, so I'm not judging or pointing fingers at a woman for her choice to work outside of the home. But I do not for a second devalue a woman who has chosen to dedicate, at least maybe during the time that her children are small, to dedicate all her time, all her energy, and everything that she has to raising those kids and making sure that they have everything that they need. And you will see the results of that. You will see the results of a child who was raised by a parent who took it upon themselves to really be an engaged parent. You will see the difference between that child and a parent who thought that chasing a career or chasing money or whatever else it was more important. And I understand that sometimes we don't have a choice. Sometimes you actually have to work. I felt like I had to work when I was working. I felt like I had to. So that's not what I'm talking about. But I still thought there was value in being there for my kids, and I thought there was value in meeting my husband's need, and I thought that there was value in marriage, and I thought there was value in building a home. There's a difference in devaluing something or just understanding that your circumstances don't allow you to give it the amount of time and energy that it requires. What do you think?
Well, one of the most important things that I've learned in my educational pursuits was a motto that was at Clark Atlanta University is called "Find a Way or Make One." Mm-hmm. In the Black community, we have some serious obstacles facing us. We have some serious dangers that are a part of our livelihood right now and that are encroaching upon our survival. So we have to find a way or make a way to protect our families and create a situation where intergenerational wealth is the norm, and it's something that we're constantly thinking about and we're constantly working on. That the cornerstone of that project is going to be marriage. Because when you feel that way about another person, you usually marry them. So whether you're staying at home and you're taking care of your children and husband, because that man does need a woman, whether you're working or you stay at home, he needs a woman to support him building his kingdom. So whatever way you decide to do it, let that be your focal point. A degree, like you said before, maybe everybody's not designed to be married. Education is a good thing. Being a CEO, being a lawyer, we need all of those things. But at some point, you stop being a lawyer, you have to go home. And like you said, you need not only someone to keep you warm, but to build you up, to take you to another level spiritually and mentally. So I think that marriage has infinite value.
I do want to, kind of point out the fact that we're rebutting an article written by somebody who hasn't even gotten married yet. So right. She's talking about honey and how it tastes and the value of it before she's even put it in her mouth. Yes. I'd like to see what she has to say down the line when she understands how much work and effort and time it takes to build a solid foundation and to build a family and build a marriage and build each other up. I'd like to see what she has to say down the line when she says Absolutely. That it's not an accomplishment. I would say that staying married is more of an accomplishment than just getting married. But even getting married is an accomplishment in of itself, because it means that man thought so much of you that out of all the women that he could have, gotten down on his knee or whatever, and proposed to, he chose you. And the same thing applies to you. We have lots of choices, especially when we're free and we have no attachments, no responsibilities. We can be with who we want, do what we want. But you make that decision to say, I think so highly of you that I'm going to commit to you and commit to building a life with you. That is an accomplishment. It's a major decision, and not many people or many people do, but not everybody can actually follow through and keep that commitment because it's so hard for a lot of people.
It is hard.
So it is an accomplishment just to make that commitment and follow through and get married and follow through and stay married. And I'm not talking about just getting married and staying married for the sake of being married. I'm talking about building something that's healthy and functional. I'm talking about raising good children. I'm talking about loving each other and building for generations to come, like you said. So I could not disagree more with this young woman who says that this is not an accomplishment, because it is. And I noticed she said that as soon as she got a ring, then she said it, because it would have seemed like she was a bitter person who couldn't get married and then decided to dismiss it. But I still think that she may change her mind down the line.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know the age of this person, but it does remind me of when I was like in my early 20s and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, marriage. It's like, and again, I hope that, we can reverse that in younger women, like I was, to get them to be focused on that at an earlier age. And understand, not to say that you should get married so early, because I'm glad that I lived my life and I learned a lot. But, I think that understanding the importance of building a union is everything for us right now in the Black community. And I think that, a lot of times people do not understand that when you're sharing your life with someone, that's a loaded statement. I mean, you're sharing. See, some people don't see a big deal as sharing your bed, but I mean, you have to share a bed with this person, a room with this person, a bathroom, a house. You guys are going through all of these things together, and it is a spiritual journey. It is so deep, and it's a beautiful thing. And in the Black community, I know we used to value family, and we used to value marriage and togetherness like this. And it's a shame that we have people out here that don't see it now. But, I think that we really have to kind of reinstill that into the fabric of our lives.
Absolutely. I can't remember her name, but I was going to directly address her and say that I absolutely disagree with her. But I mean, of course, she's entitled to her opinion, and we're entitled to ours. But I would encourage our viewers or our audience to jump in and let us know what they think. Is marriage an accomplishment? If they see it as an accomplishment, how so? And if not, why not? We look forward to hearing what you have to say. In the meantime, this is my good friend Shaquita Graham, once again, with lovingtheblackman.com and tetco.com. My name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with healthyblackwoman.com and successfulblackwoman.com. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Shaquita, for a great conversation.
Thank you, Noma.